Welcome, folks, to another episode of Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Dr. Mac Jackson Jr. Each week, we bring you information on cybersecurity awareness and protection for your business. And to join me today is my friend, Reggie Richardson from Sapphire Blue. How you doing, Reggie?
Man, it's good to see you, man. It's been a while, man.
It has been a while.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, you have some really great things going on with Sapphire Blue. And I'd like to explain to our audience here about your business and what does Sapphire Blue do as a government contractor?
Absolutely, Mac. So our company has been around for almost 20 years now. We'll go next year be 20 years, supporting the Department of Defense in engineering and a lot of other areas, but one in particular is cybersecurity. We provide services to help them shore up their defensive networks, making sure they comply to all the standards. And one of the things we have taken advantage of in 2016, the government says, yep, we're doing it, but we want our defense contractors to do it. So what we did, we said, okay, we're going to get involved in this because this is what we do. We've been doing it for, since 1997. And so we decided to get involved in this, and we've been tracking it ever since 2016, since the beginning of the compliance or the cybersecurity maturity model certification. And so it's been a long road, but now, probably here real soon, it's going to be put in place. So we've put together resources, people, and services necessary to support the defense contractors. So that's what we're doing.
Excellent. So for our viewers here as well, why don't you explain what the CMMC is? And how this regulation is imperative, important for small businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that the Defense Department is really concerned with is you've seen a lot of the hacks, and you see military aircraft looks just like ours going over in China. And so we had to stop that. So the DOD took a hard look at this, and they found that the exposure was coming through a third party or the defense contractors because there was no level of cybersecurity hygiene. There was no requirement for hygiene. So what they did was they went on a study and initially started, and they said, okay, we want you guys to put together a program. And that was back in 2016. It had to be done by 2017. In 2017, the DOD went out and inspected 500 companies, and not one company passed.
Wow.
Not one company passed. So they says, okay, we're going to have to make this thing a compliance thing and make it regulatory and a requirement. And so the DOD has been involved with creating this ecosystem, which is supposed to be in place by 2025, which is coming up in a couple of months. So they've gotten that in place. And now they have different levels and standards to adhere by. And it's quite challenging, and it's brand new. And so that's where a lot of the issues are, is how new it is. So that's what we're looking at.
Excellent. So your company will help these small business owners become more compliant.
Right. And navigate it, because it's not an IT thing. It's not an IT guy thing.
Yes.
They're going to think that it's a compliance thing, which is way different. Right? And so we're experienced with it. We've been through the wickets on it. We do it ourselves. And we're ready to help other people, So we've gotten a whole team of people, experts together on our team, and we're ready to help.
Excellent. Well, I have a group of questions here I'd like to ask you, Reggie, regarding the CMMC requirements and regulations. So let's start with our first question. What are the top concerns that small businesses should focus on as CMMC requirements are rolled out?
So the biggest things, the biggest areas that they're concerned with is, I have no experience in doing this. This is new. No one has experience doing this. Second, the cost. How much is this going to cost me?
Right.
The third is resources. Do I have the resources necessary to do this? And the last one is, if I have the resources, are they properly trained to execute? Do they understand this? Like I said, it's not an IT thing. It's a compliance thing, which is really different. So these are the challenges that small businesses are running up against, and we came up with solutions for that. So yeah, that's the biggest ones.
Okay, next one. How soon do you expect the phase to phase in the implementation to impact small businesses, the DoD contractors?
So that's a great question. I think if you move on one of the slides, I have a chart
Mhm.
that will show that. A couple of more. One more. So this is the challenges that they're having. We just talked about that: training, resources,
Mhm.
money, and experience. If you go to the next slide, it's a schedule of what's going on. So this is directly from the Department of Defense.
Mhm.
And what they're saying is once this becomes law, what they're talking about is they have one more provision. It's called 48 CFR.
Yes.
And once that comes out, you will have 1 year from the start of that to get your compliance in order. And they're doing it in a crawl, walk, run fashion.
Okay.
Phase one, they will have requirements for self-assessment at level 1 and 2. Phase 2, there will be some certification requirements. Phase 3, there will be a level 3 requirement. And then phase 4, it will be implemented in all contracts. So once it starts, it's about 3 to 4 years before it really takes hold in everything. But keep in mind, it is in contracts right today. They've been putting it in contracts since 2017,
Mhm.
but they have not implemented it in the FAR clauses. So that's what's going on.
Interesting. Okay. We'll go back to to slide number 3 here. My question for you is, how has your military and defense experience helped you shape your approach to CMMC compliance?
That's a great question. So Air Force, and what I ended up doing
Mhm.
was I was part of a classified exercise in
Mhm.
1997. I was maintaining some cyber systems, and they did the first ever penetration test of a military classified network. Back then it was classified, but it was called eligible receiver. There's parts of it are unclassified. You can look it up on the web.
Mhm.
But out of that, we realized how vulnerable we were.
Right.
We really did. And so we came out of it with two great things.
Mhm.
We came out with the NIST 853, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technologies,
Yes.
guidance
Mhm.
on what do we do for cybersecurity. And the second one, it was something called STIGS, which is a security implementation guide,
Mhm.
technical implementation guide on how to implement these things.
Okay.
And from this, they actually coined this exercise, the birthplace of cybersecurity. So we've been doing this quite a while, and been following this quite a while. So
Mhm.
it's impacted my career because I went on to do cybersecurity
Mhm.
things with Cisco. I'm a Cisco professional, and followed it to today. And so now we're here at the precipice of a major impacting compliance thing, and it's not going to be contained to the DoD. There's rumblings about it spreading out through all the federal government.
All
But
federal government.
yeah,
Wow.
but DoD is the prototype. They're testing with DoD first before it goes out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You mentioned something here. I'd like to ask that question. What lessons from the Eligible Receiver 97 exercise are still relevant today in CMMC framework?
So controls.
Mhm.
Controls.
Yes.
It's all about having
Mhm.
standardization. Compliance is about being standardized with the best practices of industry.
Mhm.
The like I said, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, they went around and worked with all the major vendors, the Microsofts, the Carnegie Mellons, and get them all together, all your experts. This is what is the best way to secure these things, and they established, the 800 series.
Mhm.
And out of the 800 series, they created one specifically for CMMC, which is 800 171, and that is specific to protecting controlled unclassified information or contract information that, if leaked, could detriment national security.
Excellent. We'll get into that one too.
Yeah.
Our next slide here. What are the most common CMMC compliance challenges small entities face within the DIB, which is Defense Industry Base?
So once again, the common ones is the newness of it.
Yeah.
And the unknown.
Unknown.
It is very unknown.
Mhm.
I mean, really, DoD is still trying to get their hands around this.
Mhm.
We have a group of standards that you have to meet, but say, for example, large companies may not have a problem
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
this, right?
Right.
But small companies, 3 or less, how do I do all of these things? We don't have the overhead for it. And so this is something that we've taken back to DOD. DOD understands it, and they're still trying to work that out.
Mhm.
But those are the challenges, right? The unknown, what's going on with that?
Let me ask another question. It's not on the list here, but you mentioned the small businesses, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the challenges small businesses have when they're wanting to work with, let's say, a DOD? Or here in Las Vegas, we have Nellis Air Force Base, right? A small business here, they want to work with Nellis Air Force Base. They should have CMMC requirements for them as well, right?
And they will. And so, say,
Okay.
for example, they provided a product or service.
Sure.
And they will award a contract. It's very important that you read all the clauses in the contracts, because you will see DFARS 252-204 7012, which says you have to implement that.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Okay. Well, Reggie, that sounds really good. Hey, let's take a break here, and we'll be back with Reggie's Richardson for Sapphire Blue, and we will continue our discussion on CMMC requirements. Right back, folks. Hello, folks. This is Mac Jackson Jr. from Vanderson Cyber Group. The problem with businesses today is that they are affected by cyber attacks from around the world, but companies are not sure of what to do. Normally, they are reactive instead of proactive. But folks, cyber attacks can affect your bottom line, and it will affect you financially, legally, and your business reputation. Here at Vanderson Cyber Group, we can help you develop a policy by training your employees on what to do if they are involved in a cyber attack and how to mitigate it and fight against it. Folks, we call it here #StayCyberWoke. And that's Vanderson Cyber Group here in Las Vegas and around the world. You can reach me, folks, at VandersonCyberGroup.com or my website, MacJacksonJr.com as well. Here locally, 702-868-0808. Give us a call today, folks. We must fight back. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Dr. Mac Jackson Jr. I'm here with Reggie Richardson from Sapphire Blue Innovations. All right, Reggie.
All right.
Yes, yes. So as we left off, we were talking about what CMMC is and the requirements that businesses who wish to do business with the DoD, Department of Defense, must have some requirements. And now they're finally having some regulations and rules put in place, correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right. So let's talk a little bit of these phase implementations here. And let's get into the DoD, the Army Corporate Engineers, Reggie, and what their new CMMC announcement is.
Yeah, so this was the first organization from DoD who actually put out a date of when they're going to implement it, which I thought was big news. So some background on that. And I believe in July, the Michael Duffy, the Undersecretary of Acquisition and Sustainment, he just took over that position, brand new.
Wow.
But one of his first things was CMMC.
Oh, good.
And so he reviewed it. He understands the concerns, and they're working on it. But this has the full support of President Donald Trump. And so he has approved it at his location, and he's pushed it on to the Federal Registry, which is where you go to actually find these federal acquisition regulations before they're published. So if you look at the timeline, he did that in the end of July. They have 60 days to get that out. So that puts us right about the end of August or 1st of September. And so you give it 30 days to implement. So 1 October sounds about right for it to kick in. It's not we don't have an official word, but it's sounding like 1 October. Not only that, they had until the end of 2025 to get it done. So I think October is probably a pretty good date.
And this is something that's approved by Congress, right?
Yes, Congress put it out that they had to have it done.
Stamp.
Yes, that's correct.
The final stamp is approved by Congress.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and they have 60 days after it's out to do it. But it's bipartisan approval, so it's going forward. Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. All right, our next slide. So, cybersecurity maturity model certification. This is CMMC. As we talked about it before, we'll recap again. What is it? And please explain the differences between the FCI and the CUI first.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I'm gonna tip my hat to DoD was they did a great job of classifying what they're protecting, right? So federal contract information is just contract information. And what it makes and why you have to protect it is sometimes schedules and stuff can be indicators to our enemies of what we're doing.
Schedules.
Yeah. So let me give you an example of this. This is kind of cruel, but it makes the point. So say, for example, you are a supplier to DoD and you are a toilet paper company.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so you have regular orders of about, I don't know, 5,000 a month. Right. And you receive a contract request from the government for 100,000 in 1 month and to be delivered in a certain area. That is an indicator of what we're doing. I know it's just toilet paper, but stop and think what you can pull from that. That's why we have to protect that information. So that's what they're talking about FCI. CUI takes it a step further. And CUI is broken up into something called bifurcation. So it's two different levels to it. Mm-hmm. The first level is really protecting not very serious national secrets.
Right.
But it does protect you against PII and PHI. So it puts controls for PHI like that. The second level, which requires a third party, it is for high security information that is in a contract. Very detailed specifications. Say, for example, you were a manufacturer of a widget and it had very precise design specifications for an aircraft. That's another indicator. So they have these different levels that they stack it depending on what you're trying to protect. So it did a very good job in that. So CUI and FCI are segregated like that, and the protection levels are different. For example, you have 17 controls for FCI, right? But 110 controls for CUI. Because it has to be guarded more diligently. And so that's the difference between the two.
So back to that toilet paper vendor.
Yes.
So you're saying that everyone in that organization has to have some sort of CMI training, or just the company itself has to have CMMC certification? So
that's an excellent question. So what the DoD encourages is, it encourages you to limit your CUI exposure to, say, an enclave.
Okay.
So only people with a need to know
basis, yes.
On a need to know basis, who need to have it, So if it's just a contract administration, so who's in that chain? Who's responsible in that contract administration chain? If you're creating widgets and designing manufacturer parts, who are the engineers who need to have those specifications? And then limit it to there. You don't put it across the whole because you don't want the exposure. So you want to limit your scope. Scoping is very important in this.
So you have to have access controls for those
access control for those users with a need to know who have access to CUI or FCI. Yes.
Interesting. Very good. Very good. All right. Next slide. So CMMC level 1 and 2, self-assessment. Yeah. Explain what this self-assessment. I have clients that have asked about this. Can we just do it ourselves, or do we have to have a third party come in and assess us, or how does that work?
Absolutely. So we have different levels. Once again, I applaud them for that. So FCI. Okay. FCI is level 1, self-assessment. It doesn't require anybody to come in. You're basically putting together what your environment looks like, which is a system security plan. CMMC starts with a system security plan. You do not have anything so you have to create your system security plan.
Okay.
Once that is done, then you have to assess, well, what are my vulnerabilities, right? And you assess that. You do a self-assessment on what I have and what I don't have against the CMMC assessment criteria.
Okay.
And their scoring methodology. So this is 2 more documents with that. So you have to assess it based on that. And you get a score. And that score will be put into something called SPURS, which is Supplier Performance Risk System, where you will actually input what you assess
Mhm.
your score to be.
Mhm.
And scores can range anywhere from negative 203 to 110 on the positive side.
And this is all part of the CMMC
This is all part.
ecosystem, right?
This is all part of the ecosystem and what's involved with it. That's why I said it's a lot more challenging in
Okay.
that. And so, in order once it gets in effect, you can have a score of negative 203.
Mhm.
That's okay. They understand that.
The government is
They,
right.
they, they
Yes.
understand that, right?
Mhm.
Because you have to build it.
Correct.
But they're going to give you about a year,
Mhm.
and they expect to see some type of improvement.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. So that this is the CMC part of it. Most businesses should have their own incident response plan, cybersecurity plan in place, right? They should have a plan in place.
They should, yes.
Can they take their current plan and see if it meets as a baseline to start their CMMC requirements?
Absolutely, you can. But the system security plan is
Mhm.
exactly that. It's an overarching document that describes your environment and some of the steps you take.
So it works
Organizational
with the current plan and brings it forward, or does it start them from zero?
No, you can start with your existing plan,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
But there are certain things, elements that it will look at. So you may have to add
Mhm.
to what your existing is, right?
Yes.
Depending
Yes.
on what the requirements are.
Very good.
Where the rubber hits the road is the actual policies that address the controls necessary to protect it,
That's it. Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
that's where a lot of the work is going to be involved in. So you
Mhm.
can have an SSP,
Mhm.
and then you can have a score that you post in the Spurs system online.
Right.
And then the last part, or last two parts, is a plan of action and milestone. How do you plan on implementing fixing this, right? So you have to have a plan of action and milestones
Mhm.
that you says, okay, this is a high priority. I want to put these resources against it. I want to start here. I want to finish here. It's going to cost this much. And then when it's done, you're going to say, is it closed and is it resolved?
Mhm.
And then you go on to the next ones. That's the kind of progression they're looking for
Mhm.
in that. And so, like I said, with FCI level 1, it's only 17. But level 2
Mhm.
is 110 controls, which, oh, by the way, that means 320 objectives that have to be met.
Okay. So with that said, you have a CMMC requirement and the company's already established business.
That's correct.
Again, they're not changing their business. They're just adding additional controls that make it compliant with CMMC.
That's correct.
So
That's
they're
100%
still
correct.
keeping their business objectives. They're not,
Right.
government's not taking over their business
No,
and
no, sir.
telling them
No,
what
sir.
to do.
No,
Okay,
sir. No,
that,
sir. Yes.
those are some of the things I've ran into people asking that question. Is the government taking over our business? Like, no, not taking over your business.
No, they're not. No.
Enhancing it with these requirements.
With the requirements, with that
from the
level
DoD.
of cybersecurity hygiene.
Yes.
That's what they
And
come back to.
standardization too.
And standardization. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Standardization.
That way, you know, if everybody's doing the same thing,
Right.
you know you have a certain confidence of what's protected. And if something is
Absolutely.
broke, then you can fix everybody's problem at the same time because you're all on the same standard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So our next slide, we're talking about systems security plan. That's what we
Yeah,
left
we
off
just
with.
talked about
Yes,
that. But
the system
anyway,
security
yeah.
plan.
So CMMC starts with a system security plan.
Absolutely.
Period.
Very good.
And just like you said, you describe it.
Mhm.
You can use an existing one,
Mhm.
but you're going to describe your environment.
Yes.
You're going to talk about organizational structures,
Mhm.
and there's a few other things you have in there. What kind of training you have?
Right.
What are you doing for protection? So, and that's your initial document that you have to have. It's an overarching one. It should complement your individual policies that
Aha.
you invoke.
There we go. That's
Right.
That's
So the
part.
policies are where you get down to the objective level requirements, which are challenging.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you they're
Absolutely.
challenging. And that's what makes it different from just an IT. Hey, figure this out, because
Right.
it comes from the top. The system owner, the president of the
Mhm.
company, is ultimately responsible for that. He signs it. He's responsible for it. So he has to make sure within his organization that they're doing the things
Mhm.
that he is signing or attesting to.
So it's more managerial than technical.
It's so in cybersecurity, 3 legs, right?
Yes.
We talk about that.
Yes.
There's policies,
Hear that, folks?
policies and procedures,
Mhm.
technology, and people.
And people.
Those are the three things you have to
Mhm.
have, and that's what you're managing.
Right.
It's not just technology; it's all of those.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. All right. Our next slide, we have suppliers performance risk system score, like you were talking
Yes.
before. So how's the score? This is a score created by the DoD or part of the CMMC ecosystem, right?
No, what it is a website that you go to, a procurement enterprise website,
Okay.
where you create an account, and that's where each company can go in and say, okay, we did an assessment and we assessed ourselves
Yes.
at this number,
Mhm.
whatever it is. If you have nothing at all, just be honest.
Right.
We're at a negative 203. It's okay. It is better to be honest than to say you have something you don't.
Right.
And we're going to talk about why you don't want to do that. So, especially when you start out, they expect you not to have anything.
Right.
And you're going to grow and go out and get help, like companies like us to help build your systems up and make you compliant and all of that.
Mhm.
But that's what you do. You put that score in there. Now, what that score does is every contracting officer, if you have a contract with them, they look at that and it says, okay, you've entered this score on this date, right? Okay, you're meeting these requirements, so we're going to go ahead and allow you to either bid for or be awarded a contract.
I see. Is like a Dun and Bradstreet number, or is it?
No, it's a lot more than that. So you put in your Dun and Bradstreet or your
Mhm.
cage code.
Or your cage code.
Cage code is your
Sure.
Dun and Bradstreet, right?
Right.
So you'll put that in so they can marry that up to your contract.
Mhm.
But what you're doing is you are attesting to the government in a federal
There
system
we go.
that you have cybersecurity hygiene and you self-assessed it at this level. And that's usually for like level 1 or level 2, the lower level 2.
Okay.
Level 2 high, or DIBCAT high as they call it, it requires a third party.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So how, if they self-assessed, is it challenged or tested? Or is
So
it
great
on
question.
good faith?
So what they do is they created this organization.
Mhm.
It is called the Defense Industrial Base Cybersecurity Assessment Center, or DIBCAT.
DIBCAT, yes.
And what and they work in conjunction with contracting officers, program offices.
Okay.
And what they do is they say, well, you want us to come in and look at that, and they'll come in depending on what level you are,
Mhm.
right? They'll come in and says, you are FCI 1. Okay, could you show me your SSP and your policies?
Yep. Cybersecurity plan and your policies.
Policies, and
Mhm.
then you got a score. Okay, so could you show us how you got to that score?
There we go. So you do have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what it gets you. That's why I say be honest.
Yes, absolutely.
Be absolutely honest, because
Mhm.
you don't want to be caught with false claims, and we're going to talk about that one too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Our next slide. So what is the POA&M?
Plan of action and milestone. It's
That's
a
right.
really good tool for organizations, particularly owners like myself, because now that gives me an opportunity to know what I'm up against,
Mhm.
what I have to tackle. Now, from a budgetary standpoint and resource standpoint, I'm saying, okay, what's critical?
Yes.
Let's deal with our criticals first, right?
Right.
So I want this, and I only have so much money this quarter. We can spend so much money on this
Mhm.
to get to this point.
Sure.
And you can use this and work with your contracting officers. Look, we only got so much budget. We're doing this. We're working on it. This is our progress on this. Government is not trying to get rid of small business or any businesses,
Right.
but they want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. So that plan of action and milestones is your plan to remediate any vulnerabilities that you find based on your self-assessment or third-party assessment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a company that's established, they should have something similar to that outside of this CMMC. They can,
In a perfect world, yes.
In a perfect world.
Unfortunately, we're not in a
they
perfect
could
world.
use. Oh, you guys need our POA&M.
Yeah.
Fine, we have our own milestone.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it. So we'll match it to the government's.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
a company has their
Yes.
established
Yeah,
cybersecurity
if they have
hygiene
then
put
that's-
together in place.
yeah.
Great. Okay.
In a perfect world, yes.
Perfect world. All right, very good. Next slide, please. All right, so CMMC contract implication. How do you guys put this together? What is the process?
Yeah, so it's a lot of
Yes.
what's going on is a lot of people have a hard to understand all these different Defense Federal Acquisition Regulations,
Yes. The four.
Code of Federal Regulations. It's a ton of them out there, but the
Yes.
ones that you really have to be concerned with
Mhm.
is your DFARS, Defense Federal Regulation.
Right. The DFARS and the NIST.
Right.
Those two. Okay.
Yeah, that 252-204-7012
7012.
says you have to protect it.
Right.
That's what it says. And then they have one 7019 talks about the requirement for your spurs.
Interesting. Okay.
Then another one, 32 CFR
Mhm.
talks about the CMMC
Mhm.
and how you have to implement that. So they made all these federal regulations, and it took years to get it through. But this is basically contractual law.
Interesting. So what I hear you saying, especially for a small business under 50 employees that want to be a subcontractor for a federal government, they really should have a third party to come in and help them assess their needs and trying to put together what they need to deal with all the different types of applications they have to go through. Right?
Yeah. And so, you can, and that's what I recommend. But
Yes.
if you think you have the wherewithal within your organization to
Mhm.
do so,
Mhm.
then I would say, try it. Because you have to look at budgets, right? Everybody's dealing with their own budget. So.
Yes. Interesting. Okay. Next slide, please. All right. New changes to.
Oh yeah. So in December 16th,
Mhm.
32 CFR Part 170, which outlined what CMMC is and all of the requirements for CMMC.
Mhm.
And a lot of people thought it hasn't started. Well, yes and no. Even though CMMC was approved and is published out there, there was still no contractual federal regulation to manage it. So what we're waiting on now is 48 CFR,
Okay.
which is what I was alluding to, which I believe it's going to be out
Mhm.
1 October.
1 October.
So that means that this whole system is fully implemented from a contractual standpoint and a cybersecurity standpoint, with those two guidances on top.
Mhm.
252-204-7012, which says this is mandates that you have to have it.
Right.
So it was a lot of legal jargon in there, and that's the government. That's what they do.
Mhm.
And so once that's in there, they can start implementing this on contracts. I see contracts every day, and all of them have it in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Next slide, please. All right. Let's talk about the level effects of requirement for a certification. It's uphill battles, some small businesses say.
Yeah. So the level of effort can be staggering.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to joke with you, because you have to create these documents that adhere. Say, for example, you are level 2.
Right.
110 controls, and that's not that much. Well, each control has objectives within the control.
Especially if they have nothing to start with.
If you have nothing to start with, so now you're creating something from nothing.
Right.
And these requirements are a little challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
They're a little challenging,
Mhm.
and so you have to have somebody who's specifically trained in it.
Mhm.
So you can have a guy who's doing your administrative work, and he's doing a great job, right? But he may not have all the different skill sets necessary,
Right,
to meet just all the technical. And even if he does do the technical,
Mhm.
then you still have the people part,
Yes,
right? The
Yes.
training requirements. How do
Training.
you do this? How does HR fit into this?
that's right.
So all these components, if you're dealing with classified stuff, your facility security officer has a role in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how does all of that work? So all three of these areas have to work together. And then you have to create and maintain documentation. On average, SSPs, or your system security plan,
Mhm.
on average,
Mhm.
is anywhere from 500 to 2,000 pages long.
Yeah.
Because that's including all the policies and the associated evidence, or body of evidence, as they call it,
Mm-hmm.
that would be required if an assessment team came and looked at it.
Have to have proof of all
You
artifacts
have
that are discovered.
artifacts, that's right.
That are discovered. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next slide, please.
And then this is just
Yeah.
and this is just a visual,
Mhm.
so you can see the difference there. Level 1 and level 2. See the difference? We did that. Our partners did this. You need to understand that this is it's a bit of work
Yes.
And there's a thing out there called audit fatigue. it's a thing, right? And that comes from that. So it's a very niche thing that has to be done. So once again, it's not, you just can't say Johnny or Susie from IT.
Right.
You got it.
Right.
Because they're going to look at you and they're going to do their best, and you're setting them up for failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next slide. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. It's the difference between
yes.
IT and cybersecurity. It's a big difference. It's the compliance versus that.
Yes.
It's a huge difference. The regulatory requirements, the level of detail is excruciating. Some of the guys that I have apprentices under my person, we'll talk about that, but I've been taking them through for years now, and now that I got them certified as the CCP or CMC certified professionals.
Yes.
They got the training, and then we walk them through how to assess a company, and they're really seeing the level of detail. The level of detail is excruciating. Yeah. And so they're seeing it for them, and it's like, oh, wow. So, yeah. It's pretty tough. So it's a difference between that.
And again, this is a requirement if the actual commercial business wants to do business with the DoD.
Correct.
They have to have this.
Yes.
Next slide, please. All right. Let's see. The role of the CMMC.
Yeah, CCA. So CMMC certified assessor.
Yes.
CMMC certified professional and registered practitioner. So the Cyber AB, which is a nonprofit organization that works between the government, DoD, and industry, the DIP. And what they do is they manage the ecosystem of the DIP here. And so they are responsible for the training. And so they created training specific to get people qualified to be able to do this work.
Okay, so there is a middleman, if you would.
That's exactly right.
A middleman that's approved by the Department of Defense.
That's exactly right.
That every entity that wants to have this level of certification has to go through.
You have to go through. You have to go through them for your training. They train all the assessors.
It's like Osaka, what we have.
Exactly. It's exactly just like that. It's the same thing. Okay. So that's what that ecosystem does. Okay. And so the role of, say, a lead CCA or a CCA or CCP or RP is to become that expert because they're specifically trained to look for the things and or to help build and remediate any actions or things necessary for companies to get a higher level or a higher score, SPURS score. And this is another reason why this is important. If you do it in-house, that's great. It's a company's decision. Here's one thing I would tell everybody. If you use an approved third-party organization and they came in and they said, this is where you are, and the DIBCAT came in and inspected you, they had questions, you can at least say, yeah, we brought in an approved company and they did this. This is what they said. And when you're becoming the boss, you want to be careful that you don't say something wrong. But if you got a third party that's approved, and they said this, and you have challenges with this, then you can go back to the Cyber AB and say, wait a minute now, one of your approved organizations in your ecosystem said, we're here, and there's a difference.
As it says,
because we did our due diligence and going through this. So as a business owner, you want to make sure you cover yourself.
Nice. C-wave. Yep. Next slide, please. All right. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
The good stuff, the cost consideration.
Yes, this is what businesses want to know. What does it cost to have this set up, the considerations that small businesses should have?
Yeah. So earlier on in the earlier slides, we had put something up about what the costs are.
Sure.
Right. And so DOD did a study, and this study is actually in 32 CFR Part 170.
Okay.
It's actually in there, and they did the numbers. So I just pulled one out for small businesses. Say, for example, if you're doing just a level 1 assessment, self-assessment, should I say, it will cost you for the assessment just under $6,000. But that is not including anything that you have to remediate, build, buy, or fix. In other words, anything that's on your plan of action and milestones, that list of things, because you have to put resources against it, time against it, and money against it. So the DOD doesn't know what that number is because each organization is different. So What I'm saying is, at a minimum for a small level one,
Mhm.
it's $6,000. So let's jump all the way up to a DIPCAT high assessment,
Okay.
which is probably the most expensive one.
Mhm.
Just for the assessment,
Mhm.
not fixing anything, the DoD estimate says about $104,000.
104,000. Wow.
So you can basically double that, and the time it's going to take you to remediate, document, buy equipment, test it.
Mhm.
It's going to get up there. So is there one hard number? No, because every organization is different. Every organization is different. But the DoD went and did their due diligence and says, they broke it down based on labor rates and everything.
Sure.
If you can look it up, you guys can go out on the FAR and
Mhm.
look it up, and you can see it for yourself. It's out there. It's about 470 pages, but yeah, you can look it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Next slide. All right. Cost recovery resources. So how does the government contractors make this affordable or adjustable for?
So one of the things that is not widely spread
Mm-hmm.
is that there is a way to recover costs.
Good.
And it's a strategy businesses need to implement. So, for
Okay.
example, if you are a company that provides services and you're doing classified work,
Right.
there is a document, the DD Form 441,
Okay.
Section 6. I know it by heart, right? It states that you cannot charge the government for the cost of your security. But they say, however, we understand in future contracts, if there are additional security costs that government levels, you can go through and request money back because the government has levied new security requirements on me that were not there.
Okay, let's break that one down. So let's take that small company, that toilet paper company you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, right? If they were to do the $6,000, you said there's a way for them to recover that cost?
Yeah, so something in the federal acquisition called equitable adjustments.
Okay.
And it works both ways.
Right.
If the government puts a new requirement on you,
Okay.
under equitable adjustments, you can ask for more money. Conversely, if you were doing a contract and government overpaid you, the government can request money back from you. So it is a fair and equitable adjustment under the FAR that you can go up under it and do that.
Okay, let's break that down a little bit. So you're saying then you have a government contract, and after the adjustments being made, you can ask for an increase in your contract.
Yes.
So you can ask for increase in your contract to cover or offset these new expenses.
These new expenses. That's correct.
Okay, that's would be good for small businesses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very nice. All right, next slide. So you make a CMC compliance affordable. Yes, that's how this is a way to do it now. Now we can have it that you can increase your contract based upon your assessment from your third-party CMC consultant.
Right, and so we talk about ways of doing that, right? And you really need a strategy. And so, matter of fact, let's go to the next one.
Sure.
And so what you could do is you have to look at CMMC as if you were buying a car.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And so everybody knows how to buy a car. And you look at the car, does it meet all your needs? Does it give you what you want? Does it give you the safety features, all the stuff you need?
Right.
Then you look at a sticker price. He says, okay. Then you turn to the salesman is, what are my monthly payments?
Right.
CMMC should be treated like a car. It really should. And make it affordable. And we have some strategy we want to share with them. Say, for example, you go out and get a loan. Say, let's use $50,000.
Okay.
And that's what your cost was. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it was $50,000.
Okay.
And say you went to a bank and says, "Hey, I need this as a business improvement loan." Right.
Sure.
And so this is something that, oh, by the way, you guys talk to your congressman and talk to them and see if the federal government can get some SBA loans for improvement for this. So. Yeah. Go out there. That's what your legislature is for. So anyway, so you go out because this is an improvement, right? Get an SBA loan. So you get one for $50,000 because we have to have it because this contract, yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
So if you look at it, you take one contract and you say, this toilet paper is costing me $50,000 to do this, but I have a 5-year contract. what I would recommend is you amortize that across the life of the contract,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you break that down over 60 months,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at, with interest, say 9% interest, you're
Mhm.
looking at $1,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
right? On that loan that you're going to pay back.
Okay.
Then you can come back to your contracting officer. We're going to talk about negotiating, but you can come back to your contracting officer and say, listen, this is what it is. Instead of coming to him and say, hey, I paid $50,000, you owe me $50,000. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow,
Sure.
right? But if I come back and says, over the life of this contract, if you guys, because of this equitable adjustment agreement, let's negotiate this and just add an additional $1,000 a month. That makes sense to contracting officers. That's just one contract. Say if you have 5,
5, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You spread it out over the 5 contracts.
Right. And you don't
right?
have to pay that original 50,000
Right.
every time.
Right.
pay
So you're getting
once.
it from each one of the, you paying it one time.
Okay, that's the key.
Yeah.
Right there. You're paying
You
it once, but you're hoping to have more than one contract.
Right. And to cover it, and you spread it over that. So you
Okay.
could be with 5 contracts, it's like $200 a month. That conversation is even easier to have.
Sure, sure.
So amortization is a business strategy that I would recommend people do. Amortization of your contracts with this initial expense.
Very good. Very good. Next slide, please.
And this is talking about
negotiating.
the
Yeah.
negotiating standard. So we
Mhm.
just touched
Just
on
touched
that,
it.
and
Okay.
this is what I would recommend you guys to do. So yeah.
Excellent. Our next one, cybersecurity grants for.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is something that caught me by surprise, and
Okay.
I've talked to a few companies on this.
Mhm.
They receive grants
Mhm.
if you know how to write a grant. Because it's a business improvement for cybersecurity, and there was money out there. And so I know of 2 companies who've gotten grants
To cover their.
to cover the costs. Some other things that are out there. Believe it or not, the National Security Agency,
Okay.
they provide free cybersecurity as a service.
NSA. Right on.
Yeah, they provide some services out there.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of them. We name a few of them out there, but we have a couple of. There's some free resources out there
Mhm.
that will help you with some of these things. So there are some resources, but once again, get on your politicians. You need more help, companies. You need to do that.
That's right. Let's
Yeah.
talk to the politicians. Next slide, please.
Now, here's a big one.
Yes.
Who to trust?
Who's the trust?
Oh God,
Absolutely.
yeah. So unfortunately, there's a lot of money grabbing people out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard some horror stories.
Mhm.
So I would say to companies, do your due diligence. I would first say the government has approved the Cyber AB to run the ecosystem. So at least select a company that's within that ecosystem,
Yes, makes sense.
right? Because at least you have some type of way to get back if something's not going right.
Right.
And so I would strongly urge that. However, you can choose anybody you want, but you accept that risk, that additional risk. So I would say at least to that. Second question, interview the company. A lot of companies are going to say a lot of things,
Mhm.
but I will tell you, there's only about less than 200 companies that's actually literally been through an assessment.
Really?
Right, because what they did was it's not official. So what they offered some of the companies who want to get ahead of it, they said
Mhm.
something called joint surveillance,
Mhm.
where the companies that approved the C3PARs, or third-party audit organizations, they would work with the government over the shoulder
Right.
until this gets approved.
I see.
And so it's called joint surveillance, and those guys have done that. So very few companies have direct experience
Mhm.
doing a CMMC assessment.
Interesting.
So I would ask hard questions.
Mhm.
First of all, have you done any kind of assessment? If so, can you give me some examples and some background? Secondly, more important, have you actually did a CMMC assessment?
Mhm.
Because I've done assessments all over the world, ISO 27001,
Yeah,
GDPR,
Sure. All
but
those-
those are different.
Yeah, those are different.
This one's very specific to what the government wants.
So the bottom line is that companies need to vet, like we always said on the
Yes.
show, and I've talked about this for years. They need to vet anyone they're working with and make sure they are legitimate companies, because the bad guys out there could always like to
Yes.
try to exploit when they
Right,
can.
right. That's exactly right. So
Mhm.
do that. Do your due diligence, ask questions,
Ask
and then
questions.
shop around,
Yeah.
right? Because the prices will vary. Because once again, even this industry has not really settled down
Hmm.
on what a good price is.
Hmm.
You see a lot of different things
Yeah.
out there. Now, I will tell you, I have a lot of industry partners. We're really trying to get the price down because we understand they can't do it.
Yes. And I give another analogy: cyber liability insurance.
Yes,
Like that industry. Right?
yes,
Everybody's jumping in on it. They see it's a
yes.
huge market for the small business owner, but again, prices do vary. So
And prices will vary.
yeah.
We're trying to work with the insurance industry to lower the prices based
Hmm.
on a CMMC
Oh,
compliance,
that's even better. Wow, that'll be
right?
great if that
Because
comes out.
if you got a federal government saying you're
Yes,
compliant,
that's right.
why would I pay higher rates? Because I've lowered my risk.
That's right. And that's what insurance companies want. That's a
Right.
very, very good point.
Yeah, and so we're trying to work with that. I've been talking for years, but maybe we can sell them on that
Hmm.
because that way they'll get a wider
Hmm.
audience,
Hmm.
right? And they'll beat their competitors. Whichever insurance company is the first one to adopt this
Yes,
will dominate that particular market
that's right.
because everybody can go to them for the lower cost because now they have a way of
Mhm.
saying you are a lower risk.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
Next slide. All right. So other questions that are out there. Let's see. Let's go to other services. Let's go to your services that you provide. You gave us a really good analysis here and introduction to your business and what the requirements are for CMMC. How does one? How does a company contact you, or what is their first steps they need to take? Their next steps.
Yeah, so you can go to our website, and
Mhm.
we actually improving that now,
Hmm.
and we'll have the information here as well. And I think I'll leave my information with you,
Okay.
and so you can go through that. And I would love to have a very honest, open, and candid discussion with companies free of charge, and then see what they want to do. I myself am a defense contractor. I myself have to have that.
Right.
So I'm coming from a place that is near and dear to you because I am you.
Let me ask you this: for the business owners out there that are looking to market their company and have a step over the competition, especially now when we talk about cybersecurity hygiene, but they're not connected to the federal government. Can they have CMMC evaluation certification, but they're not a government contractor, and
Absolutely.
use that as a marketing for their customers, saying that, hey, our company, we are CMMC certified by Department of Defense.
That's right.
See,
Yeah,
folks, that's
yeah.
another
You
option.
can you
for
can
you.
do that too. And another point of fact is in DoD contracting, the government really pushes small business inclusion.
Inclusion. Okay. Very
And
good.
so the big companies will have a requirement, say they have $100 billion contract, whatever the number is.
Right.
The government says, okay, 30% of that needs to be small business. Now, one thing that's important is these big businesses can afford to get CMC certified. Not a problem.
Right.
They got it in there.
Sure.
But they are also responsible for the subcontractors.
Hmm.
And so they push it down to the subcontractors. And if they can't get it, then they have no choice but to sever ties with this company
Right.
because you're not meeting it because the flow down requirement, that's the deal that from the prime contractor sub, it's a
Yes.
flow down requirement.
Yes.
So you have to have that. So if you do have it,
Hmm.
you're more attractive to these big
To
companies.
the big companies.
So you see a lot of companies say, wait a minute now. Or if you want to be a prime contractor
Mhm.
that says, hey, contracting officer, hey, we are compliant.
Mhm.
If you're giving this out and you having issues, choose us. We did our due diligence.
In other words, seal
So
of approval.
that's an advantage. That's an advantage to that.
Seal of approval.
The seal of approval. That's correct. Yes.
Very good. Very good. All right. Next slide.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is just talking about some of our Sherpa. So we do have experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we help. We'll help from anything from starting from zero,
Right.
implement it into a cloud.
Okay.
I've actually done it myself, got it down, and you don't necessarily have to have one solution over another one,
Hmm.
but just what's important is meeting the requirements.
And you're saying cloud, you're also saying AWS and Azure.
Yeah, Azure. So we're Azure user,
Yes.
and so we know that really well.
Mhm.
And so we implement in that. because we know exactly what they're going to do. So let me warn people one thing. Some people will buy some products and say, if you buy this product, that's all you have to do. It's built in. Well, this is what they're not telling you, is that even though it may do that, if you get an assessment, they don't say, okay, you got this, you're good to go. Like you got Azure, oh, you're good. They don't do that.
Right.
They go right to the control and the objective. Okay, explain how this and this works. I want to determine, do you do this? You have to, they believe you got it, but you need to explain it to me how you use it. So if you don't have anybody who knows how to do that and meet that, even though you've spent, I ain't gonna say the name of the product, $50,000 for this product.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
You still can't get there from here because you still have to have a subject matter expert to talk with the team. That's why it's so important to have somebody on your team.
Yes, with the artifacts and the backup.
It's like having a lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have a, what do you say? The person who says a lawyer is a fool or something like that.
Yes. First, he represents himself.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
Yeah. Right. So it's one of those deals. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Let's see. So to get a hold of you again, for your website and places of the country that you're located here in Las Vegas, and other places as well.
In DC, yeah, we have footprints in Atlanta, and in the DC area.
Excellent.
And California, and so we're out there ready to help, and we have a great network of people, and we look forward to this. Is going to be an exciting time because I believe DoD estimate says 83,000 companies require a level 2.
83,000 folks. That could be your business as well.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But Richardson, I want to thank you for joining us. This
Thank you.
is great
Always,
information. Man. And folks out there, this is really good information for your business. If you're looking to do business with the federal government, Department of Defense, or if you want to enhance your cybersecurity hygiene for your organizations, definitely contact companies like Reggie's companies here, Sapphire Blue. That's all we have for you this week, folks. Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm Dr. Mac Jackson Jr. We'll see you next week here. Thank you.